Welcome back, football fans. It is a fantastic week 2 of Friday Night Lights here on NBC3. And Friday Night Lights brings us to an old rivalry on the east side of town. Good evening. I'm Nico Tamurian. CBA and Nottingham renewed their rivalry in 2007 after being a mainstay in the 20th century. Tonight, both schools are back in Class AA, so they're making that mild jaunt or so up Kimber Road to play each other once again. Nottingham, the host tonight, in a crevice of sunlight shining over the east side of town this evening. CBA drives right down the field to start this one. Josh Brown in the shotgun formation in the red zone. DeAndre Dowdell, halfback coming out of the backfield. That's good for 6. Now after a failed fake punt attempt by the Bulldogs, CBA knocking on the door again. It is Dowdell using his legs this time. That's another 6, and the brothers roll 51-6 would be the final in this one. Corcoran and RFA matching up. One of these schools looking to pick up their first win tonight. Corcoran, I must say, looks pretty nifty in those new silver uniforms. RFA knocking on the door, but the snap is errant. Dante Coker comes away with it for the Cougars. Huge save right there. They are rolling early and often in this one. RFA finally gets on the board. Lindell Reed rolls right, lofts it up. Beautiful catch by Dylan Finley at the goal line. The Knights have shown that ability to move this ball. They scored a ton of points against Nottingham last week, but it is not enough. Corcoran wins 48-7. They even their record now at 1-1. Hey, Kelly Cowan joins us now with this week's Toyota High School Game of the Week. Kelly.
Well, hello, Nico. This week's Game of the Week pitted West Genesee, and they were trying to stop Baldwinsville's Cameron Skipworth and the Bees' lethal ground attack. And that's one way to stay warm on the sidelines tonight. Baldwinsville cheerleaders looking like they're in mid-season form on the sideline. And so are the Bees on the field as they face the number 7 Wildcats. We go to daylight here and the final seconds of the opening quarter. Well, we know Beeville likes to run it, and we also know few do it better than number 22, Cameron Skipworth. The senior carries it 28 yards here for the score, and the Bees are on the board first. And that's just the first of 3 touchdowns on the night for Skipworth. That was really the story of the night here. A complete domination from Baldwinsville on both sides of the ball. West Genesee finally able to get on the board in the last minutes of the game, but it's just too little too late for the Wildcats. Bees win 36-7 and get off to a 2-0 start on the season.
Our running backs are running hard, and we just want to keep going. We want to keep going. Now we got to get in the film right when we get back into the office. We'll get with the kids tomorrow morning and start getting geared up for next week.
We're sending that we're definitely a good team, and we can definitely play with the best of the best. And I think moving on, like Coach says, keep the ball rolling, keep the momentum rolling, and I think that's what we're going to do.
So, Nico, Baldwinsville off to a great start and with plenty of momentum heading into Corcoran next week where they face Fowler.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Jake Whittick out with a shoulder injury for the FM Hornets. He's the reigning Section 3 Player of the Year. Big loss for the Hornets. They're hosting Utica Proctor, but the offensive line, hey, they're not injured. Neither is Jeff Martin. Nobody's going to catch him. 65-yard scamper to the end zone. FM takes a 14-13 lead in the first half. Head coach Damian Rhodes, my co-host on the Orange Zone, Thursday night, 7 o'clock right here on NBC3. There's the plug. Long story short, Damian's excited because another FM touchdown after that. The Hornets threatening again, but Henry Josephine picked off by Nick Abraham from Proctor. A nice return, but on the ensuing drive, watch this. Proctor QB Marcus Lilly is sacked. Ball comes loose, and how about Anthony Nucerino on FM? Scoops and scores all the way into the end zone. FM wins going away. 42-19 was the final. Liverpool visiting Central Square. A lot of points scored in this game, just only on one side of the field. But not early on either way here. Just 3-0 Warriors in the second quarter. 3rd and 10 for Liverpool. A little midline screen to Rashawn Crenshaw, who fouls his lineman. That's how you read the blocks right there. 45 yards to the house. 9-0 Liverpool. Now we go to the end of the half now. 2nd down. Ricky Sisto decides to go to the air here, and he finds Matt Sal. That would be Pete's nephew. Waiting for it. Catches, scores. Liverpool skates to the finish line. They win 37-0. Hey, we are just getting warmed up here on Friday Night Lights here on NBC3. We'll show you a very special night at Tully High School when we come back. Welcome back to Friday Night Lights here on NBC3. And as much as we love it, we must remember football is just a game. The student athletes at Tully reminding us of that with a special fundraiser tonight for the Wounded Warrior Project. Now, They're hosting Lafayette, and we mentioned it's a special night. They're wearing those jerseys in honor of that. All sorts of fundraisers going on for that great cause. We'll pick up the action now. Tully leads 14-0 early, but Lafayette rallies. Ryan Agadol airs it out. Jacob Carter able to come down with it just inside the goal line. That's a touchdown. The Lancers cut that deficit in half. Tully, though, playing with obvious pride tonight. Patrick Morse breaks free, plows his way into the end zone. Tully looking very good, but Lafayette, they're combined with Fabius Pompey, and they explode in the fourth quarter. How about 27 points in the fourth? Carl Dickett finds some running room, and the Lancers pull away in this one. 48-32 would be the final. Kevin Warmack with a huge Week 1 game for Utica Notre Dame. They are hosting Weedsport tonight. Hey, it's the first time since September of 2009 that Utica Notre Dame has hosted some Friday Night Lights. Pretty cool for them. Now, the Jugglers put up 56 last week on Bishop Blood in Week 2. It's Weedsport striking first. Hunter Bowden throws the short touchdown to J.J. O'Connor. Weedsport leads 7-0. Utica Notre Dame, though, marches right back. Their first offensive drive, Warmack, 6-yard touchdown run. The conversion is no good, though, so Notre Dame trailing 7-6 in the second. Warmack, though, goes to the air this time. Nick Roche, 20-yard strike. Weedsport, this was a back-and-forth affair trying to answer, but Bowden's pass goes off the hands of Stephen Nemec. Devin Smith there for the Jugglers. INT. Utica Notre Dame holds on in this one. 26-21 would be the final. To Solve now, and yeah, the Bearcat fans are pumped. They're hosting a neighborhood rival in Westville. And they're looking for their first win of the season after a heartbreaker to Marcellus last week. Now, just before the second half begins here, Bearcats trail 9-6. Brandon Franklin hits Michael Yezo in open space, gets a nice block, just out of bounds at about the 4-yard line. Westville's Michael Burton with the touchdown-saving tackle. And guess what? They hold them out on that one, too. And it proves to be kind of the difference here. Westville goes on to win 19-14 was the final. Indian River fans giving the Spartan the tomahawk chop at East Syracuse Manoa, my alma mater. The sideline not amused with that one. Indian River led by 1 at halftime. They take a 2-touchdown lead here when Dustin Sherritt punches it in, but East Syracuse Manoa, you know they're going to fight back. They manufacture a drive here, roughing the passer call. Raquel Othman not tackled. They cut the lead to 5 there, but Indian River bounces back. Connor Brown, 60 yards plus for the touchdown. That's a backbreaker for ESM. They lose tonight. 32-21 was the final. We have a couple more scores to pass along tonight. Auburn, well, they struggled last week against Baldwinsville. CNS looked great against FM, so Auburn wins, of course, right? Just the parity in Section 3. The Maroons win by a touchdown. Marcellus wins a nail-biter with Skinny Atlas. Hey, we still have so much more to talk about here on Friday Night Lights. The legendary Paul Seeley joins us next to break down everything we saw go down tonight.
That excites.
Well, we're back here on Friday Night Lights, and here he is, back for more. It is Paul Seeley, the former Nottingham head coach, and you know, we were talking about this during the break, Coach. You realize you've been with us now, coming on this Friday Night Lights show since 2010.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I've enjoyed every minute of it, and hopefully we can be a little informative to the fans out there.
There you go. Well, you more than me, of course. And let's start with the Fayetteville Manlius Hornets tonight. Certainly a tough loss for them in Week 1 to CNS, but here they are. They bounce back against an always dangerous and athletic Utica Proctor team.
Well, you know, FM's got a lot of conditioning going on out there, and Damien did a good job. I think last week, I think they had a few problems, but they seemed to iron them out and ran well tonight. Utica's an up-and-coming team, so it's really no surprise. FM had them, you know, early and often, so FM's on a roll now. I think they play Henniger next week, and that's the week after, so that's a big contest for them.
No question. And they win tonight, you know, without Jake Wittick, the reigning Section 3 Player of the Year. To me, that just shows grit and determination on the side of the Hornets.
Well, you know, you miss your best player, you better hope everybody else steps up to the plate. And I think the kids did tonight, and obviously they scored on defense, which is always a big motivation for everybody.
Hey, and let's move on now. Of course, the Baldwinsville Bees. You know, listen, every year in and year out, Carl's got this team ready. They're that smash-mouth brand of football. If it's not Cameron Skipworth, it's Tyler Rouse, it's somebody, Malik Berg. It's some great running back, and we're seeing that against this year. You know, hey, they beat 2 pretty good teams in Auburn and West Genesee in back-to-back weeks using that ground attack.
Well, you know, the back's outstanding, but you got to give the kudos to the offense.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Carl always has big, strong guys. They're dedicated weightlifters, and they come to play, and they will move you off that line of scrimmage.
And they have athletic cheerleaders, too, as we can see here with the flips. You know, the one thing that sticks out to me about Baldwinsville is that you know, a lot of the hype coming into the season, and rightfully so, Coach, was, you know, all about Henninger and CBA, and they're going to be there at the end. But here comes Beeville doing the same thing that they always do, right?
Well, you know, it's classic smash mouth football. You know, Carl's a run-first kind of guy, so they're going to have a great attack. They practice hard. They practice long and often. It's really no surprise that the Beeville's going to be right in the mix again this year.
No question. And now, just in case our viewers out there don't know, you are helping out with the West Hill Warriors. Jamie Casulo is the head coach there now, a famous name here in town. His dad, Bob, is on the Orange Zone with me here on NBC3. But what's going on with West Hill this year? You get a big win over Solvay tonight. How are things looking for the Warriors?
Well, you know, it's a big rival, West End, a couple miles apart. The Bearcats played scrappy. They did not lay down tonight. We struggled for a while, but we did persevere, and the kids came through. You know, we bend, but we didn't break. And at the end of it all, I guess you come out the victors. You never look that gift horse in the mouth when you win. So it's on to Skinny Atlas for us next week.
That'll be a tough game, too. The Lakers, by the way, losing to Marcellus by 1 point. And I'll tell you what, you mentioned you're going to Army tomorrow because St. Thomas Aquinas is playing at West Point against Don Bosco. That makes our buddy Bob Casulo busy watching Jamie win tonight and hopefully watching his son Rocco's the coach they win tomorrow.
He gets around. I'm sure he can handle it. It's only 3.5 hours, but you know, anytime you get to see the #1 team in the nation play, especially an East Coast team like Don Bosco, who was the last team to beat them from out of state.
No question. And, you know, there's another big game tomorrow. And certainly if you love high school football, yeah, you know, Casanova is playing, Westmoreland's playing, and those are going to be some great games. But, you know, we've got the Syracuse Orange playing as well. They're taking on Central Michigan. And this is a team, Coach, that, listen, you know, they're from the MAC. They're going to be hungry hosting a Power 5 team. And, you know, last week they go on the road and they beat a Big Ten team in Purdue by 3 touchdowns. Now, Coach Schaefer says he knows what Central Michigan feels like. He coached in the MAC with Northern Illinois from 2000 to 2003. He was over there and they had some great seasons. So Coach says he knows exactly how the MAC team, Central Michigan, feels in hosting an ACC school like Syracuse.
Well, you know, anytime the MAC wins, you know, it's the tomahawk chop. And they got one last week against Purdue, so we hopefully they don't get the tomahawk against the Orange, and we'll prevail for the 2nd week in a row.
No question. Let's hear what Coach Schaefer has to say about the matchup.
It's what college football is all about. They'll be ready. They've been there. They've done that just a week ago. They'll be a very confident outfit. You know, you have a chip on your shoulder when you're in those situations because your kids and your coaches say, I could be there. Why didn't they recruit me? Or why didn't they hire me? And that chip on the shoulder is not a bad thing, and I think that's why you've seen the MAC do so well over the years.
So there you have it, Coach. We are down to our last 30 seconds. As always, I'm going to put you on the spot. Final score tomorrow, Syracuse, Central Michigan.
Well, I'm going to go with the Orange, as I always do, 28-21.
28-21. We're on similar pages here. It's going to be a close one. By the way, the weather in Central Michigan tomorrow, upper 40s to low 50s with rain. I wonder if that'll come in. I say Syracuse, though, 21-16 is the final. Hey, that about does it for week 2 of Friday Night Lights. For Kelly Cowan and head coach Paul Seelig, I'm Nico Tamurian. We'll see you next week on Friday Night Lights.